My heart just sank.
Welcome to Paranormal Nightshift, your home for all things that go bump in the night and your fan stories told here. We live in a fun time now where the government actually does want to tell you that aliens are real, and maybe it explains some of the stories that I've gotten sent to me. Bobby writes in, I'm a long-haul truck driver, have been my entire life. I drive coast to coast, most of the time listening to Coast to Coast. But this story, I have no explanation for. I was driving through Arizona. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I came up across, I guess, some road work. I mean, I hadn't seen any highway work. I was the only truck on the road, and I saw lights. These guys were standing around, lights and flares, going, hey, this road's closed, you can't go this way. I don't particularly like going back roads. I try to stay on the highways, but it looked like it was going to reroute me about an hour to go on the back roads so that I could get back onto the highway and do what it was I needed to do. And that's when it all started getting weird. I've never felt bad driving. I like to drive at night, but I started getting ridiculously sleepy. So much so that I couldn't keep my eyes open. I would drink some more coffee or something like that, and it just, nothing I was doing was making me feel any better. I felt sickly tired, like exhausted. I saw a truck stop sign about 2 miles down the road, and it just didn't feel right to me. Like, why are we in the middle of nowhere, but there's a truck stop? But I was exhausted. I felt so bad. I was feeling physically ill. My stomach was cramping. My hands were cramping. Everything felt bad, and it all happened so instantly. I didn't feel bad a couple minutes before that, but right after I had talked to those guys, I started feeling really sick. I pull over to the truck stop and I start throwing up. I start feeling even worse than I did before, and then I just fall asleep. I go into the back cab and I have to lay down. Start sweating and panicking, and the best way I can describe it is like having a fever dream. Everything that I'm dreaming about seems real, and none of it makes sense to me. I'm being picked up, I'm being moved, I'm being probed and prodded. The dreams turn into nightmares, and it's so vivid. I'm sitting on like an operating table, and I'm being messed with. They're looking at me. I can't see what's looking at me. It's just moving me around. Everything is so bright. Everything is like sterile looking. It's like I'm in a hospital. But every time I break out of it and wake up from my dream, I go look out the front window. I'm still there. I'm still right where I am. I'm still at that truck stop. I try to fall back asleep, but every time I fall back asleep, I'm having the same dream. And it goes on like this all night. Moments of these horrible nightmares, and then I go look out the front window and I'm exactly where I am. Nothing feels right. My head is spinning. I'm physically sick, but it's like I had the flu or something. Like none of it made any sense to me. I must have finally just exhausted myself, and I slept. I slept until the sun came up. I wake up and I see the sun peeking through my curtains. It must be morning, and I need to get back on the road. But when I go to step outside of my truck and get everything ready, I realize I'm not in Arizona anymore. In fact, I'm nowhere near Arizona. I'm hours upon hours away in Florida. Between 3 o'clock and 8 o'clock in the morning, I have traveled from Arizona to Orlando, Florida. You can do the math. It's not possible. There's no logical way that I could be here. I didn't drive. And even if I did drive, even if that white line fever took a hold of me, there's no way I could have driven that hard, that fast to get down here. It doesn't make sense. But then weirder things start happening. My rig is all the way filled, like filled to the top. Everything, even window washer fluid, is filled. Battery to my phone is fully charged. My bed's made up. The trash is out of my truck. Everything is just pristine and spotless. I needed some logic. I called my boss and explained to him where I was, and he told me there's no way. You were in Arizona. We know that you were in Arizona because you just picked up your load. Now you're in Florida. There's no way that this could happen, Bobby. What are you talking about? I know it sounds absurd, but I believe that I was set up. I believe that those men who had the highway blocked sent me through some sort of time loop, portal, maybe alien abduction. They knew where I was headed, and that's where they dropped me after they were done with me. I don't expect anyone to believe me, but I have logbooks to where I started in Arizona and then gassed up in Florida. None of this makes any sense to me. Somebody please make it make sense to me. What happened to me that night? It's never happened again. In fact, I don't dream at all anymore. I just go to sleep. But something has happened. Something has changed within me, and I don't know. Bobby, that's a wonderful story, and I wish I had answers for you. I truly wish I did. But I've heard so many stories of alien abductions or time loops or portals. Tell me in the comments what you think happened to Bobby. Don't forget, we have Paranormal Nightshift stickers available in our link tree now. And thanks for watching Paranormal Nightshift.